idols, and we cutting down poles. We calling back Israel to the hell we know. Throwing out crystals, we don't need these stones. And we ain't no God, that's a job for y'all. All praise to the Most High. All praise to the Most High, Yahuwah. All praise to the Most High. All praise to the Yah Israel. Tearing down idols, we cutting down poles. We calling back Israel to the hell we know. We throwing out crystals, and we don't need these stones. We ain't no God, that's a job for Yah.
Everybody help me say all praise. All praise to the Most High. I can't hear you say. All praise to the Most High. All praise to the Most High. Hey, all praise. All praise to the Yah of Israel.
Send you the first, we going out. Send you the first, we going out.
Preset if you scared, then go home. And no, we ain't saying it twice. Cause once you get into this war zone, it's either your life or their life. And we ain't about losing before an intrusion. We gotta make sure we right. So we send praise and seek his face. Then we load up it is on site. What you thought it was, it's not. Don't wanna see us on your block. Yelling hallelujah, trying to tell y'all that victory is your shot. We serve Yah's eye by oath, and in this army of hosts, yeah, Yahoo the lead. True indeed, in his name we boast. Don't
send you the first, we going out. Send you the first, we going out. Torch fire, flags in the street. Sing louder, kick up the beat. All them enemy feet get delete when we cray in the street. Drew to drop them knee. Who got the praise for days? Who are the what came face? Made for praise. Spit prophecy. We be that anointed royalty. I said we came. Hey. The bar Hamayim number 2. That's on replay. Yeah. We gon' bust them walls, mash up and be on our way. Yeah. To the nations we proclaim his Qadash name. Yahuwah, Yahuwah, Yah, Yah. Send you the first. Send you the first. We going out. Send you the first.
You said.
Send you the first. We going out.
From Symbion to Benjamin, we need every man out here standing. Got sisters home and they praying while they brothers in the field slaying.
Slaying demons in sorrow. Hamashiach, we do follow. Sword the truth, we loud no mute. We lenders out here, we know no borrow.
Jacob's seed is undefeated when y'all's greeted with praise and leads us through a war without a grievance. Till the win is completed, then we return with our pieces.
Peace banger, peace be still with the Rangers. Mighty morphin', we hang them up to dry, they can hang on, hang on.
Let's go.
Send you the first. Send you the first. We going. Send you the first. Send you the first. We going. Send you the first. Send you the first. We going out. Out.
All right. Shalom, everyone. Shalom, shalom, shalom. It's Friday afternoon. It's the Shabbat in a couple of hours. You know, it's the last video of this week. So, you know, we got to go out with a bang. Look forward to anybody that will join the live stream to have a conversation, if necessary, a little later. I hope you guys are looking forward to this very, very powerful live stream. If you guys have been following my work on this topic, you know I've had my foot on the neck of those who hold to Lashawan Qadash. And I haven't decided to take my foot off that neck because people still, in their ignorance, I want to say in their blatant ignorance, Israel is hard-headed. All throughout the Bible, it speaks of us being a stiff-necked people. You know, some of the silly explanations that you will hear from Israelites, even after all is said and done. You know, I read the comment sections, even though I don't like to always go through some of the comments in the comment section. As I'm reading the comment section in some of these videos that I did in the last month, some of the comments are just grossly ignorant. Zion, all right, I get it. Lashawan Qadash, it's not accurate. All right, you're right. Lashawan Qadash is not how ancient or biblical Hebrew was spoken. We get that, Zion. But what's wrong with remodeling, reconstructing, and revising? What's wrong with that? Why can't we still say Shalom? Why can't we still say Todah? Why can't I still call the Messiah Yahweh? What's so wrong about that? Well, apart from the fact that you clearly skipped the whole lecture to hear what's wrong with that, biblical Hebrew vocalization determines meaning. You change the vocalization, you have effectively changed the meaning. That is effectively why you cannot remain in those vocalizations. Slang is cool when you're speaking a language where slang doesn't take away from meaning. So in English, slang words don't take away from the meaning of words. In cases, it even adds meaning to words. Hebrew is unlike that. The moment you switch vocalization, you have completely rendered its original meaning obsolete and void. That's why this idea has to be beat down the heads of those who still continue in this ignorance. Then there are people online that say things like, you know, I was there at the original One West. Zion wasn't there. We spoke the real Hebrew. I don't care if you was at One West in 1969, the very first day that they opened the door. They are still as incorrect as trying to put two left shoes on your right foot, period. The system of Lashawan Qadash will never be an accurate way to represent biblical Hebrew. And for far too long, the dirty section of the Israelite community, some people say the dirty section of YouTube, have been allowed to get away with this. For 50 years, 50 plus years,
the One West community and its proponents have been allowed to get away with this grave error, this blatant lie. They've been allowed to get away with it because those who are equipped to challenge them have respect for some of their work, such as myself. But after a while, you have to reason to yourself, enough is enough. And so tonight's presentation, or this afternoon's presentation, is entitled Hebrew for Survivors of Lashawan Qadash. As you guys know, when I get ready to do a live stream, you know it's about to be a movie. So make sure, everybody, that you thumb up the videos and you share the live stream. Make sure that you take the actual link to the live stream and post it on your social media platforms. All right, so post it on your social media platforms, especially if you're a moderator. You know, with all due respect, I'm going to definitely say this to our moderators. There's a lot of people that we've given wrenches to that really don't do anything to help further Zion Lexx TV, apart from adding a comment here or there. If you're a moderator, the expectation is that you help Zion Lexx TV, whether that be sharing the video on your platform, whether that be helping to moderate in the comment section. But I definitely want to say, moderators going forward, you could definitely lose your wrench. And I know what you're thinking. I don't care. And that's fine with me too, because if you know, as my children would say, if it's all right with you, it's cool with me. So, you know, if you don't care to lose your wrench, that's fine. But I just want to make it clear going forward that if you have a moderator's wrench, it's to help out. It shouldn't be one person. It shouldn't be just two people, especially on Zion Lexx TV, where the wrench is passed out so freely and so liberally. All right. So if you're a moderator, the least you can do is moderate. The least you could do is help. That involves sharing our class links. That involves sharing the presentation on your platform and on other platforms. And there's something in it for you. You know, once I see that it's done, there's definitely something in it for you. All right. With that being said, I want to go straight forward into this presentation. This has been long overdue. Here we go. All right. Lashawan Qadash examined linguistic errors, historical myths, and the collapse of meaning. Lashawan Qadash, also known as the Holy Tongue, is a constructed language within certain fringe religious groups, particularly among some segments of the Hebrew Israelite community. Its proponents claim that Lashawan Qadash is a revival of ancient Hebrew, but linguistic scholars frequently point out numerous inaccuracies and anachronisms in its structure and vocabulary. The language attempts to simplify Hebrew by removing vowel sounds and altering consonants, resulting in significant deviations from historical and biblical Hebrew. This leads to a collapse of meaning, as the intended connections to ancient texts and traditions are often lost or misinterpreted. Furthermore, Lashawan Qadash is intertwined with historical myths, as its users sometimes assert connections or claims about heritage that lack credible historical evidence. The language's development reflects an attempt to forge a distinct cultural identity, yet it often relies on revisionist history that can obscure genuine historical context. Critics agree that rather than serving as a tool for genuine linguistic or historical revival, Lashawan Qadash represents a constructed narrative that can mislead adherents regarding their heritage and the true nature of ancient languages. Understanding these dynamics is crucial for engaging within the cultural and religious implications of Lashawan Qadash. Here we go. All right, we're going to take a quick look at the Hebrew alphabet chart. I just want to go over some things and make some critical distinctions so that we can understand some of the errors that are made and maybe even blatant lies that are being made from the One West communities. And here we go. So when you look at the Hebrew alphabet, the writing system is composed of what we call 22 letters if you're using the Paleo Hebrew script, and 27 letters if you're using Kitav Asherit, which is the script of the Dead Sea Scrolls. And so the spoken language, however, certainly has 22 letters. I say that because there are 5 letters in the Hebrew alphabet that when they are written as the last letter in the alphabet, they take on a different shape and form, right? Those are the Sufit letters. More on that if you were to join Learn Torah Hebrew Academy at patreon.com/Learn Torah. If you look at the names of the Hebrew letters, the first thing you immediately notice is that they're not syllabic, like as in Lashawan Qadash. And we're going to see that in a couple of moments. I have a video to play for you guys. You guys know when I start playing the video, things get epic in here, right? So the first thing you notice is it's not syllabic. Every letter of the Hebrew alphabet is endowed with its own intrinsic meaning. The first letter of the Hebrew alphabet, contrary to Lashawan Qadash proponents, is not Ah. The second is not Ba. The third is not Ga. The fourth is not Da, etc. It's Aleph, Beit, Gimel, Dalet. And all four of those letters have their own meaning, their own ranges of meaning. Aleph as a word is a word, and it means to learn. It means to teach. It's used in the book of Job, chapter 33, verse 33. The letter Beit is also a word. It denotes a house. It denotes an academy. It can even be a reference to the Jerusalem temple. The letter Gimel is literally the Hebrew word for camel. It also denotes kindness, or the idea of bestowing kindness. The letter Dalet is also a word. It denotes a person being poor spiritually, or a person being poor physically. Dalet also denotes a door, right? A door. So every single letter of the Hebrew alphabet has its own intrinsic meaning. What does that mean? From the very outset, Lashawan Qadash and its system fails because their system begins with the alphabetic system. And in their alphabetic system, they say that the letters are A, Ba, Ga, Da, Ha, and so forth, right? But that's incorrect because every Hebrew word has a meaning, and there's no Hebrew word called Ah. There's no Hebrew word called Ga. There's no Hebrew word called Da. Every Hebrew word has its own unique meaning. So where are they coming up with these names for the letters of the alphabet? That's the first point of failure for Lashawan Qadash. None of the names that they apply to the letters of the Hebrew alphabet have any intrinsic meaning in ancient or biblical Hebrew. None of them. They're all blatantly wrong and incorrect. On that note, what I would like to do now is show you guys a brief video of, I think this guy calls himself Elder Tahar. I think he is the leader of GMS. And I want you guys to hear how he says ancient Hebrew is sounded. He's said to come from the old One West school. And of course, you know how they do. The moment somebody disagrees, they break away and they start a new alphabetic camp, right? So he left ISUPK, right? Well, not ISUPK, but he left One West and he formed GMS. You guys know how it goes in the One West system. The moment somebody disagrees, the moment someone falls out, they take shop, they leave, and start a new alphabet camp. It never fails. And where they teach more errors, more lies, and more falsehoods. That's crazy. But we're going to go to this video really quick because I want you guys to be able to see something. All right. Now, in this video clip, you're going to see Elder Tahar, that's what they're calling him, I guess, of GMS. You're going to see him describe the Hebrew alphabet. And he's going to make it clear that this represents the way that ancient Hebrew is spoken, as opposed to what he's going to call the Yiddish. Of course, as you guys have realized by now, what One West calls the Yiddish is actually the true way to pronounce biblical Hebrew. And the craziest thing about that is that these guys have convinced many that the real way to pronounce Hebrew is incorrect, and worse yet, Yiddish, and their way of pronouncing Hebrew is ancient. When the reality is the One West way of pronouncing Hebrew, which they call Lashawan Qadash, that was invented in 1969. There is no attestation of any of those pronunciations for biblical Hebrew anywhere in history before 1969. So contrary to popular opinion, Lashawan Qadash is modern, and the real Hebrew that we speak, that we read, is the ancient. I'm going to allow Tahar of GMS to speak and publicly make some critical errors, and then I'm going to add some critique. Here we go. Throw up the video and share the live stream. And welcome to Zion Lexx TV.
Now this is the basic Hebrew alphabet. Now that's the first letter of the alphabet, which is A. Oh, I got something. The next letter is Ba. All right, or what they call B. The next is Ga. The next.
I'm sorry, guys. I thought that was funny. What he says suggests that Hebrew is his first language. He said the next letter is Ba, what they call B. Homeboy, you mean what you call B? English is your first language. You don't speak Hebrew. And the Hebrew you speak ain't even real Hebrew. So don't say Ba is the next letter, what they call B, as if the English language is foreign to you. Your first language is English. That's what you call it. And the Hebrew you think you speak ain't even Hebrew at all. I'm sorry, y'all. I just thought that was absolutely hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. We're going to run that back a little bit and come again. Here we go.
That's the first letter of the alphabet, which is A. Oh, I got something. The next letter is Ba. All right, or what they call B. The next is Ga. The next is Da. Ha, Wa, Za, Ha. Because when you speak in Hebrew, let's say you.
By the way, you know, people in One West, One West is an interesting group, man. An interesting group full of contradictions. When they hear those of us that actually read and speak real Hebrew pronounce the letter Kate as Kate, they literally say that's the Yiddish. They literally say that's the Jewish pronunciation. They say that is not the original pronunciation. But did y'all just hear how Tahar pronounced it? He pronounced it exactly the way as we pronounce it. So at a certain point in their doctrine, they always come back to contradict themselves. But don't take my word for it. Listen for yourself.
The next is Ga. The next is Da. Ha, Wa, Za, Ha. Because when you speak in Hebrew, let's say you want to say Bethlehem, that means Bethlehem means Bayath, which is a house, and Lacham is bread, the house of bread. So this character right here is it's almost like you read it.
I think he's making it clear that original One West teachers did in fact teach that the letter Kate is pronounced Kate, right? Just like that. But the new guys that just woke up a couple of years ago, that are Johnny come lately in the One West community, they seem to think that that's wrong. They seem to think that that's Yiddish. But even your elders will tell you that that's the pronunciation of that letter. By the way, I think that's pretty much the only letter that they get right. I think that's pretty much the only letter that they get right. But you know, as you were, let's go.
Yath, which is a house, and Lacham is bread, the house of bread. So this character right here is it's almost like you ready to spit. Okay? Then you got Ta, Ya. That's the first letter in the Most High's name, right? Then you got Ka, and I mentioned La. You got Ma, Na, Sa, I. This is the only, at all these, right, this is the only character that has a different sound than any of the rest of the 22 characters, all right? Because you got two sounds, two vowels. You got and you got I. Once you understand and I, that's the whole Hebrew language, all right? So you got I, you got Pa. Now Pa, that's where you...
Time out. I know I didn't hear him just say that. I know I didn't hear him say that. Did he just say, once you understand and I, That's the whole Hebrew language. You can't make this up. Yo! I guess they didn't know that YouTube was going to be invented soon. Oh my God. He just said the sounds ah and I is all you need to know in terms of understanding the Hebrew language. Once you know ah and I, that's the whole Hebrew language. Yeah, you can't make this up. No wonder you guys are elementary and remedial when it comes to biblical Hebrew or ancient Hebrew. No wonder you guys are elementary and, quite frankly, just remedial. Lashawan Qadash is remedial Hebrew at best. And I like to say that I've heard what remedial Hebrew sounds like, and it still ain't as bad as Lashawan Qadash. This is horrible. He just said while the camera is on him. I mean, when it, usually when you sometimes, as human beings, you say things and you're not really focused, you're not really thinking. But when the camera's on you, you try to be sharp. We all know that when you're teaching and the camera's on you, you try to do your best work. So his best work was him saying, so long as you know the ah and the I, those two vocalizations, that right there represents the whole Hebrew language. Guys, you cannot make this up. Run that back.
You got and you got I. Once you understand and I, that's the whole Hebrew language. All right? So you got I, you got pa. Now pa, that's where you get the word mouth. Like payala is the mouth of God, mouth of the Most High.
Okay, this is really bad. This is really bad. Somebody's gonna say, yeah, Zion's playing videos from 30 years ago because y'all still speak the way he's speaking from 30 years ago. What are we even talking about? The word that he's trying to pronounce is the Hebrew word PL, right? That's the word he's trying to pronounce, right? He's trying to say PL, right? That's the word he's trying to say. He's trying to say PL, and he's getting that really wrong, right? Or he could even say PAL. He's still getting it really, really wrong. That's not the pronunciation at all. He's completely off, but again, when ignorance is in a seat of authority, the people are allowed to blatantly take in things that are just wrong and not sounded in truth at all. So I'm going to let the rest of the video play. And there's just one more thing within the video that I have to stop to kind of emphasize really quick. So here we go.
You got pa. Now pa, that's where you get the word mouth. Like payala is mouth.
Okay, he said payala. I know I wanted to stop at that. Let me see if I can get the exact time marker. All right, he said payala. And that's the word that's spelled on the screen as PL, Pei Yod Aleph Lamed. Now, here's something interesting. The suffix, the theophoric suffix on the N, Aleph Lamed, right? That's the singular form of God in Hebrew, right? And that's pronounced in Hebrew as Ale, not even L. Some people say L, but it's actually pronounced as Ale, as in you go to the store and you buy ginger ale. That's the pronunciation, A-L-E, ale. Now, he says that's Allah. Guys, you can't make this up. One West will be on the corners telling people that the God of Islam, Allah, is a false God. One West will be on the corner telling people that the Islamic writings don't speak of the God of the Bible. They speak of a fake and false God called Allah. But then ask them how you say the name Israel in Hebrew, and you will hear them say, Yasher Allah. When I tell you guys, knowledge is so accessible today in 2026 that to remain in ignorance takes effort. Knowledge is so accessible in 2026 that to remain in ignorance, it actually takes great effort because this is the definition of insanity. In another conversation, he will literally tell someone that the God of Islam is a false God by the name of Allah. And he will say that that's not the name of the God of the Bible. But then you ask him, how do you say Israel in Hebrew? And he will literally fix his face to say, Yasher Allah. So this is the blatant ignorance and the blatant stupidity that people who actually are well learned and well studied in Hebrew have to deal with. But here we go.
Now, pa, that's where you get the word mouth. Like Payala is mouth of God, mouth of the Most High. Now, if you look at it, it looks like an open mouth, right? Then you got Taza, then you got Kwa, then you got Ra.
Wait, what he just called this letter? Yo, you can't make this up. Guys, if you know biblical Hebrew and you can relate to what I'm feeling in this moment, put some fire emojis in the room, because what did he just call this letter? Did he say the letter Taza? This is insanity. But let me show you what happened here. You see, when you look at, let me stop the screen for a moment, right? Let me stop the screen for a moment and let me show you guys something. I'm gonna go to a different share screen and I'm gonna show you something really quick. You see, this is what happens when you're too prideful, too boastful to actually learn from people who know, and you just rather repeat things in error, or you rather just teach things in ignorance. In the Israelite community, rather than show humility, rather than admit being ignorant. And by the way, the term ignorant, I'm well aware, has a negative connotation mostly. You call someone ignorant and they feel hurt. It's painful, right? But I cannot tell you guys something. At the baseline level definition of the word ignorant, it simply means to not be in the know or to not know. So rather than admit ignorance, the idea that you don't know, rather than exude and show humility, I'm willing to learn and know, they will go so far in their ignorance that they will teach that which is a blatant lie, a blatant error, as if it is the raw truth. And I have to tell you, that right there is part of the definition of insanity. And let me show you how they were able to make this error. If you look at any chart of biblical Hebrew and its alphabet, it tells you how each letter is pronounced. When you come to the letter which is called Zadi or Zadeh, it'll say right under it TZ. If you never learn with a teacher and you see TZ, then you will think the TZ means I should pronounce it as Taza. Oh, y'all been bamboozled. Oh, y'all been hoodwinked. Y'all been led astray. Let me show you something. Rather than admit ignorance, rather than exude humility, they will get up and speak a lie, a blatant lie, and speak it as if it is the raw truth. This is why I tell people, when you're studying the Bible, its language, its history, and its culture, it's mandatory that you have a teacher. For all of those facets, it's mandatory that you have a teacher. Guess what? Even they teach that. Even One West tells their adherents, you have to come into their school to learn. You can't just watch YouTube videos. You have to have a teacher. They tell every single one that follows them that you have to learn through a teacher, through a school. You have to be connected to one of the One West schools to be a part of One West, to be an acceptance of their doctrine. They understand that the baseline to get the doctrine, you have to be taught by a teacher. But it's clear here that whoever came up with the One West style of Hebrew, they were never taught by a teacher. But instead, what they did was they opened a Hebrew book. And they soon realized, after being intimidated by its vast grammatical system, that they couldn't learn that fast enough to be able to go and teach in their community. So, what do people do when they are lazy, prideful, and arrogant? Of course, they take the easy way out. I'm going to teach myself, and then I'm going to go teach the people. So, what did they do? They reduced 85% of the vowels and kept 15. I want to say they reduced 90% of the vowel and they kept 10. I want to say they reduced 98% of the vowels and they kept 2%. And when they looked at the letters, they didn't agree with the pronunciation Aleph, Beit, Gimel, because they saw that's how European Jews were pronouncing it. So they said, no, that's not what we're doing. So they said, what we're going to do is we're going to go by what we know is true, what they think is true. So every Hebrew chart of the Hebrew alphabet under the name Zadi or Zadeh, it will tell you how it's pronounced. You will see a TZ. If you never learn this directly from a teacher, you are bound to make this mistake. You will pronounce it as Taza. Why? Because you see TZ. But can I share something with you? The letter Zadeh actually has two pronunciations. When the letter Zadeh is at the beginning of the word, the sound is a Z, as in the word Zedek, the Hebrew word for righteousness. It's a Z, as in the word Zion, Zion, following one West Hebrew. I wouldn't be called Zion Lexx. I would be called Tazawan Lexx. Well, thank God for real Hebrew. Well, thank God for real Hebrew, because Tazawan Lexx is diabolical. So when the letter Zadeh is at the beginning of a word, the pronunciation is a Z. When the letter Zadeh is at the end of a word or towards the end of a word, its sound is a TZ. And that TZ is in like the word Ritz, as in Ritz cracker, as in the name Mitz. TZ, that's the sound. Not Taza. TZ as in Ritz, as in the Ritz Hotel, as in Ritz cracker, as in, y'all never learned from a teacher. And these are the critical errors of never learning from a teacher. You say silly and, quite frankly, stupid things. The pronunciation is not Taza, genius. Not even at the end is it Taza. It's TZ as in Ritz. That's why when we speak of Egypt in Hebrew, we don't say Matazarayam the way that they do. We know Egypt is Mitzrayim. Mitzrayim. Mitz. Not Matazah. What? I almost cussed. What y'all doing? Like, seriously, get some humility, because Matazarayam is ridiculous in 2026. And it's embarrassing. And y'all must be stopped. Like, we need to start wearing shirts that says One West must be stopped. Because your teachings are flawed. They are diabolical. They are nonsensical. My God. But here we go. This is insanity at its highest. Taza. Grown man. Taza.
Of the Most High. Now, if you look at it, it looks like an open mouth, right? Then you got Taza, then you got Kwa, then you got Ra, then you got Shah, then you got Tha. So that's the whole Hebrew alphabet, right? Now, when you go down to the Assyrian, once you understand that, the characters are a little fancier, But this is the Assyrian. So you got ba, ga, da, and so forth. All right?
All right, we're going to stop that video there. We're going to end that nonsense right there, and we're going to jump back into our presentation. Here we go. This is why, everyone, you have to actually learn from an accredited school, an accredited institution, because this is insanity at its finest. Here we go. Lashawan Qadash examine linguistic errors, historical myths, and the collapse of meaning. Give me 1 second. In the meantime, everybody, thumb up the video and share the live stream, because this is one of those moments that just cannot be missed. We're going to be really, really quick. We'll be right back with a quick commercial break. In the meantime, moderators, please, if you can, share the link to our academy. And to everyone, I ask you, can you please thumb up the video, share the live stream? We'll be right back.
Shalom and welcome to Zion Lexx TV. Be sure to like the video, subscribe, and share the live stream. Become a member of Zion Lexx TV and unlock several hidden features and hidden videos. Also, you can donate to Zion Lexx TV at Cash App $ZionLexx or via PayPal at zionlex@gmail.com. We also have an online academy entitled Learn Torah Hebrew Academy. Visit us on patreon.com/learntorah. Our Gold Tier membership gives you unlimited access to our special event lectures and our special live movie nights. Our Platinum Tier gives you unlimited access to our Torah class, Kabbalah class, Patriarchs and Matriarchs of the Covenant classes, as well as understanding the New Testament via the Oral Tradition class. Our Diamond Tier gives you unlimited access to all of the previous tiers, as well as our most sought-after class, our Biblical Hebrew course. And finally, our highest tier, our Sapphire Tier, gives you unlimited access to all previous tiers, as well as our highly esteemed rabbinical course. Be sure to sign up today and check your tier membership so as to ensure you're getting access to the classes you desire. Thank you for visiting us here at Zion Lexx TV, and now back to our current live stream.
All right, here we go. So again, Lashawan Qadash examine linguistic errors, historical myths, and the collapse of meaning. Introduction, defining the issue clearly. The term Lashawan Qadash, often spelled Lashawan Kodesh, is presented in some modern ideological circles as a claim to an ancient, pure, or divinely preserved form of Hebrew pronunciation. It advocates and argues that mainstream biblical Hebrew, particularly the Masoretic Tiberian tradition, is corrupted, foreign, or artificial, and that a reconstructed pronunciation system based on Paleo-Hebrew consonants reflects the true spoken Hebrew of antiquity. This claim is linguistically, historically, and methodologically flawed. It confuses script with speech, orthography with phonology, and ideology with evidence. Worse, the pronunciation system it promotes actively violates Hebrew grammar, morphology, and semantics, producing forms that collapse meaning rather than restore it. What follows is a clear, technical, and historically grounded explanation of what Lashawan Qadash actually is, why it is problematic, and how its pronunciations distort Hebrew at every structural level. Here we go. What Lashawan Qadash actually is and is not. Lashawan Qadash is not a preserved ancient Hebrew dialect. It is not a recognized linguistic tradition. It is not a historically attested pronunciation system. It is not a continuation of Israelite phonology. Lashawan Qadash in no way, shape, or form actually reflects ancient biblical Hebrew at any station, at any junction in time, anywhere in history. All proponents of Lashawan Qadash should be ashamed of themselves in 2026, still speaking, still utilizing this form of Hebrew, and actually having the gall, actually having the nerve to teach people in 2026 that this is the language of our ancestors and this is the language of ancient Hebrew. This is not only silly, but this actually distorts the true meaning of biblical Hebrew. And anyone calling themselves a teacher in the Hebrew Israelite community today in 2026 that is still teaching Lashawan Qadash, those people cannot effectively be regarded as teachers of the Hebrew language at all. Let's move. Rather, what Lashawan Qadash is, it's a modern reconstruction built on selective assumptions, a consonant-only reading ideology, a reactionary polemic against rabbinic transmission. Oh, we don't follow the Masoretes. A system that replaces Hebrew morphology with English-based phonetic improvisation, Taza. Classical Hebrew already has a term for sacred language, Lashon HaKodesh, and that term refers to biblical Hebrew as transmitted, not reinvented. Lashawan Qadash, by contrast, is a counter tradition that rejects the very mechanisms by which language survive. Script is not speech. You often hear proponents of Lashawan Qadash saying some of the silliest things you will ever hear spoken in conjunction with language. Oh, I don't speak the modern. I speak the paleo. Paleo is a script. A script can represent several languages, several dialects within said several languages. No one speaks a script, genius. But when ignorance has a microphone, when ignorance is the most audible thing out there, when ignorance is the face of a movement, then these things are allowed to continue unchallenged. Here we go. Script is not speech, the fatal category error, a foundational error of Lashawan Qadash, and their rhetoric is the claim that Paleo-Hebrew script represents the true spoken language. This is linguistically indefensible. Written language versus spoken language. Scripts encode language. They do not define pronunciation. No ancient Semitic script, Phoenician, Hebrew, Aramaic, Ugaritic, fully recorded vowels in the script. However, understanding Hebrew grammar reveals the structure and skeleton of vowels in these scripts. I got to run that back so we can understand that clearly. Because many of these geniuses will read one page, one line in a book, and the book will say, no ancient Semitic script, fully recorded vowels. And they'll say, see, Hebrew never originally had vowels because in the ancient script, you don't actually see vowels, right? So be quiet. You don't know Hebrew. Because although no ancient Semitic script fully recorded vowels, meaning markers in the script that would visibly detect vowels, understanding Hebrew grammar reveals the structure and skeleton of vowels in these scripts. What does that mean? Every single word in biblical Hebrew, through its morphology, through syntax, the sentence structure, through grammar, you can detect vocalization because you understand how the skeleton of language works, which is the grammar. And in understanding the grammar, you automatically know what is the vocalization. So when understanding the vocalization of biblical Hebrew grammar, that determines biblical Hebrew vocalization. But if you have never learned biblical Hebrew grammar, and the best you could come up with is Tazah, then no wonder you're out here teaching people that we should be saying Shalom, that we should be saying Kum, Yasharala, that we should be saying Thawada. All the while, when you actually go to read biblical Hebrew, those types of people, your reading is remedial at best. Listen to the people that read Lashawan Qadash. It's like giving someone a first grade book, The Cat in the Hat. The cat in the hat. I gotta come back to that word. And the boy, the boy. That's how they read Lashawan Qadash. I promise you. I promise you. The proponents of Lashawan Qadash, that is literally how they read biblical Hebrew. Oh, I don't know that word. I got to skip that word. Oh, I'll come back to this word. Oh, I can't pronounce it. I thought you know Hebrew, homeboy. You can't make this up. You literally cannot make this up. The level of arrogance, the level of ignorance is diabolical. It's insane. And they must be stopped. Here we go. No ancient Semitic script fully recorded vowels in the script. However, understanding Hebrew grammar reveals the structure and skeleton of vowels in these scripts. Spoken language always predates and exceeds writing systems. The Paleo-Hebrew script is a writing system derived from Northwest Semitic abjads, consonantal by design. To argue that Paleo-Hebrew letters dictate pronunciation is equivalent to claiming that modern English spelling reveals Old English phonology. So, by the way, everyone, the way English was spoken in medieval times sounds vastly different phonetically than how English is spoken today. The only difference is within the English language, vocalization does not determine or drive grammar or meaning. So that's fine. But the reality still is the way English is spoken today does not capture how it once was spoken in medieval times. So someone arguing that so long as you have Paleo-Hebrew, the script, you know how the original language sounds, that's silly. That's like saying because we know the 26-letter alphabet A through Z, that automatically means we know how English was spoken in the medieval period. Literally cannot make this up. Here we go. Now, what led me to do this afternoon's presentation is the arrogance of elders and leaders in the community. You know, many elders and leaders in the community actually saw my videos. Some of them reached out to me privately to say, hey, Zion, you're right, but could you take it easy? I said, why? Well, even though you're right, Zion, I mean, we've been doing this for a long time. There's a certain structure that we follow. So what do you mean, elder? Well, you know, I'll appreciate it, Zion, if you kind of tone it down a bit. Oh, you would appreciate that? With all due respect, elder, my name is Avdiel. Know what that means? Servant of El. You know what that means? I follow God. You know what that means? You getting checked. So no the hell I'm not toning it down. No the hell I'm not full stopping. No the hell I'm not taking my foot off your neck. Go to hell. Because y'all must be stopped. Here we go. Imagine someone saying salawam in Arabic. Just imagine that. Just imagine somebody saying salawam in Arabic. This is the equivalent to the ignorance in the Israelite community. Oh, ancient Arabic didn't have vowels. Why? Because ancient Arabic, by the way, everyone, or Arabic in general, it also has a pointing system. It also has nekudot, a vowel marking pointing system that helps to determine vowels. But ask anyone that actually reads Arabic if they need that as an experienced reader. Similar to biblical Hebrew, the people that need the vowel markings, the dots and the dashes, those are the people that don't understand the grammatic structure. So as a result, they require the training wheels, the vowel markings. But there are people that are so experienced in Arabic, classical and modern, that they don't need the training wheels. You know why? Because they understand the grammar. And the grammar represents the structure and skeleton of the language. And once they know that, they can reveal the body. Here we go. Here we go. Why Lashawan Qadash pronunciations break Hebrew grammar. What is one of the most famous or infamous, I think the word is infamous, I would like to use. What is the most infamous pronunciations in biblical, in the One West communities? Shalom. You know, I went to school in the 80s. I went to school in the 90s. And I could tell you something. We didn't have what they have today, which is a whiteboard and a marker. We didn't have what they have today, which is like PowerPoint presentations on laptops and iPads or even your cell phone. You know what we had when I was going to school in the 80s? We had what we call the blackboard. And if you went up on the blackboard, you used something that's called white chalk. White chalk is used to write against the apparatus of the blackboard. All of us who remember that time and that period, you know that the idea of someone taking their fingers, and in particularly their fingernails, and running across the full length of the blackboard, you know that scratches and irks your very soul. Can I tell you something? That's how my soul feels every time I hear every single one of you geniuses saying shalom. And these are teachers in the Israelite community. These are people that are collecting hundreds and thousands of dollars from people to teach them shalom. That is insane. They say the definition of insanity, everyone, is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. How long will we continue in ignorance and not realize why there is no forward lateral movement in the community? I'll tell you why. Because the definition of insanity, which the people are insane, is doing the same thing all the while expecting different results. Here we go. The Hebrew language operates on a root and pattern for morphology, meaning emerges from precise vowel placement, not consonants alone. Lashawan Qadash pronunciation destroys this system. Example 1, shalom versus shalom. The noun shalom derives from the root shin, a word, lamed, a word, and mem, an actual word. Not sha, la, ma, syllabic sounds having no meaning in Hebrew. These are all words, shin, lamed, mem, expressing wholeness, completion, and harmony. The Lashawan form, shalom, introduces an unwarranted aw diphthong, shalom, shalom. According to the rules of Lashawan Qadash, even as Elder Tahar just told you, once you know the ah, and once you know the I, he says, that's the whole Hebrew language right there. Yeah? So what about the diphthong that's produced every time y'all say shalom? You see, ignorance is such that while a person is fully steeped in it, it has become so much a part of them that they don't even realize that they are steeped in ignorance. The Lashawan form shalom introduces an unwarranted or diphthong. It collapses the kolem vowel class, breaks the nominal pattern katol. The result is not an older form. It is a non-Hebrew sound string with no grammatical identity. There is no shalom as a word in ancient Hebrew or biblical Hebrew. It does not have the meaning of peace. Even the word shalom, if you change the phonetics, it changes the meaning. Shalom is not peace in Hebrew. Shalom is wholeness, being complete. Shalom is the idea of being in active pursuit of peace. Remarkable difference. So every time you say shalom, not only are you not reflecting biblical Hebrew, but you are completely distorting the meaning of peace, which is supposed to be the meaning of the word shalom, the word you incorrectly render as shalom. What's the next infamous word that is infamously abused and brutalized by one Westerners? Yasharallah. Y'all hear them? Kum Yasharallah, right? Whenever they all saying something dumb at the same time, you can't make this up. Whenever their sick minds tell them that they said something that was smart, even though it was dumb, when they have that moment, they all say Kum Yasharallah, even though what they just said is the stupidest thing that a baby could conceive of. But anyway, example 2, Yasharallah versus Yisrael. The name Yisrael is morphologically precise. The verb form comes from sin, resh, he. The meaning or the name is Sarah. That means to contend. That means to strive. Open up the book of Genesis chapter 32. Start at around verse 27 and read for yourself and see, why is the name of the biblical patriarch Jacob, why is that name changed to Israel? In fact, everyone, let's do that live. Let's take a quick commercial break. When I come back, I'm going to have the name Israel on the Summer Jam screen, and we're going to see who really knows the language.
Shalom and welcome to Zion Lexx TV. Be sure to like the video, subscribe, and share the live stream. Become a member of Zion Lexx TV and unlock several hidden features and hidden videos. Also, you can donate to Zion Lexx TV at Cash App $ZionLex or via PayPal at zionlex@gmail.com. We also have an online academy entitled Learn Torah Hebrew Academy. Visit us on patreon.com/learntorah. Our Gold tier membership gives you unlimited access to our special event lectures and our special live movie nights. Our Platinum tier gives you unlimited access to our Torah class, Kabbalah class, Patriarchs and Matriarchs of the Covenant classes, as well as understanding the New Testament via the Oral Tradition class. Our Diamond tier gives you unlimited access to all of the previous tiers, as well as our most sought-after class, our Biblical Hebrew course. And finally, our highest tier, our Sapphire tier, gives you unlimited access to all previous tiers, as well as our highly esteemed rabbinical course. Be sure to sign up today and check your tier membership so as to ensure you're getting access to the classes you desire. Thank you for visiting us here at Zion Lexx TV, and now back to our current live stream.
Let me give a shout out to a good brother in the building, Nasi Green, which is Joseph Green, in the comment section. Shalom to you, good brother. Can't wait to come down and visit your congregation soon. Much love and much respect to you. I'm going to go to a new shared screen, everyone. I call this screen the Summer Jam screen. And here we go. In the book of Genesis, chapter 32, starting around verse 26, Jacob has an encounter with an angelic being. In this encounter, the Bible says through allegory and metaphor that he wrestled with this angelic being. Of course, we understand this metaphorically and allegorically, but there's something even greater I want to point towards your attention. This passage not only reveals to us why Jacob's name was changed, but it actually reveals to us the grammatic structure within the name change that lends towards the accurate and correct pronunciation. See for yourself. And then clip this part of the YouTube video and share it all over Facebook, all over Instagram, make your TikTok reels go in. One West doctrine has to die if we are to forward excel in 2026. Somebody put that in the chat and somebody throw some fire emojis if that's the absolute truth. Let's go. And it says, Wayomer Shalecheni Ki Allah Ha Shachar Wayomer Lo Ashalachencha Ki Im, and it says in English, and he said, let me go, for the day breaks. But he said, no, I will not let you go, except Beraktani, you bless me. And it says Be'ivrit in Hebrew, Wayomer Elah Ma Shemeka. So he said to him, what is your name? Wayomer Yaakov, and my name is Jacob. Verse 28. Wayomer Lo, and he said, no. Yaakov Ya'amer Od Shemicha. No, your name shall no longer be called Jacob, but your name, Ki'im Yisrael, for Israel, Ki. Everyone look at the transliteration in English. I'm going to blow that up a little bit more. I want to make sure everybody and a mama could see the transliteration, right? What did he say his name would be called? Yisrael. Does anybody see Yasharallah? Does anybody see Yasharallah? I'm going to point my arrow on it and I'm going to ask the question again. The verse says, no longer shall your name be called Jacob, but your name shall be called Yisrael. The transliteration is right above it. The Strong's number is right above it, telling you from whence the word comes from. The word comes from the root Sarah. Click on it. See for yourself. Yisrael. Watch. The root Yisrael, right there, Genesis 32:28, Sarita. That's the Hebrew word, Sarita, not Sharita. In a couple of moments, you're going to see why that's important. Look at what Strong's exhaustive concordance tells you. The name Israel comes from the root Sarah and El. The name Israel comes from the root Sarah, El. So where y'all get Yashar Allah from? The Hebrew word Sarah, that means to strive. That means to contend. If you choose to pronounce the name Yasharallah or Yasharel, it no longer holds that meaning, because now you're treating the root as if it's based in the shin sound. And shin, resh, hey, or shara, that doesn't mean to contend. That doesn't mean to strive. That's part of the Hebrew word for remnant, as in the Creator saying, only a remnant. Sha'ar, sherit, remnant. So if you pronounce the name Yasharallah, you just effectively change the meaning, because the meaning Yisrael comes from the Hebrew verbal root Sarah, and Sarah in Hebrew means to strive. Sarah in Hebrew means to contend, to contend. Even as you see here, Sarah. Sarah. Look at it again. Sarah. Not Shara. Sarah. God strives. Sarah and El. Now let's go back. Look at the word in question again. Let's go all the way back and look at the word in question again. Let me blow it up once more. And he said, no longer shall your name be called Israel, Jacob, but Israel, Yisrael. And look at the root, Sarah. And how do we know that the root is Sarah? Look at the explanation. For you have struggled with God, or in Hebrew, ki sarita im Elohim, we'im anashim. For you have struggled, im Elohim, with God, we'im anashim, and with men. So the name Israel is rooted in sarita, which means to struggle. But I need you to listen carefully. That word sarita is just an S, not an SH. This is why we pronounce the name as Yisrael, and certainly not Yasharal. This is easy, but it's hard when you're not studied. I always say in our classes, the work is easy when you're well studied. Let me go back to my share screen now. If you guys are enjoying the video, throw up the video and share the live stream. Also, everyone, don't be afraid to donate to the platform that, once again, is consistent in bringing powerful, impactful, and revolutionary information for the Israelite community. The name Yisrael is morphologically precise. The verb form or the verbal form from Sarah, which means to contend or strive. Added to that is the theophoric element El. Stress and vowels define syntax and theology. So, what's wrong or what's problematic with Yasharallah? Yasharallah confuses the root Sarah with Yashar. If you want to pronounce the name as Yasharallah, you're drawing from two possible Hebrew roots. You're possibly drawing from the Hebrew root a remnant, as in sherit, or you're possibly drawing from the Hebrew root yashar, which means upright. Regardless of which one you are drawing from, both of them are incorrect as a designation or classification for the name Israel. The name Israel is rooted in Sarah, which denotes to strive. When you say Yashar Allah, you have changed the verbal root from Sarah to Yashar, and that means straight. And that's fine, but that's not the meaning of the name. So if you want to continue to say Yashar Allah, I'm cool with that. Just don't tell people it's equivalent to the name Yisrael. Yashar Allah confuses the root Sarah with Yashar. It adds extraneous vowels not tied to any binyan, any Hebrew verbal stem. Biblical Hebrew vocalization markers that determine meanings of Hebrew words. That's what the binyan refers to, or binyanim in the plural. The binyanim represents biblical Hebrew vocalization markers that determines the meanings of Hebrew words. These are all the biblical Hebrew verbal forms. They're referred to in Hebrew as the binyanim. Let's go. The term Yasharallah also fractures the divine name element El. It's not Allah. Now, if you were speaking Aramaic, you'd be close. Allah. If you were speaking Arabic, you'd be even closer. Allah. But it just so happens we're speaking Hebrew. And so the pronunciation is El. This does not recover meaning. It rewrites the word into a different lexeme entirely. So while Lashawan Qadash says that they are recovering ancient Hebrew, no, you're not. You're rewriting Hebrew into a different lexeme entirely. What's the third infamous example of the collapse of real Hebrew? That's the pronunciation Todah. Todah is used to say thank you. Those that really know Hebrew, we know that the way to say that in Hebrew is Todah. But somebody with a King James Bible, a highlighter full of aggression, convinced you that the pronunciation is Todah, even though their pronunciation for the letter Zadeh is Taza. Therefore, my name wouldn't be Zion or Zion. My name would be Tazawan, following this ridiculous system. The noun Todah, meaning thanksgiving, belongs to a well-attested nominal class derived from the Hebrew verbal root Yod Dalet He. Thawada introduces an English th, foreign to Hebrew phonology. Hebrew words do not lead with a th. If you are following Yemenite pronunciation of Hebrew, then you pronounce the second appearance of the letter Tav, or the soft one, as a th. But that only happens at the end of a word. No Hebrew word leads with the th sound. By the way, that's Biblical Hebrew 101. What are we even talking about? But because you're studying from someone that learned the Bible, but a King James Bible, a highlighter, and aggression, that's why you remain in ignorance just like them. Here we go. The term Thawada introduces an English th sound foreign to Hebrew phonology at the beginning of a word. It violates the stop fricative system of the Tav. It breaks the o-ah pattern, the vocal pattern that signals abstract nouns. The semantic value of gratitude, therefore, is no longer linguistically encoded. The moment you say Thawada, that word has lost or been stripped of its semantic value of gratitude or thankfulness, which is no longer now linguistically encoded through your pronunciation of Thawada. Instead, it introduces a word with no Hebrew equivalent. There is quite literally no Hebrew equivalent to Thawada. Let me just check the comment section for a while. Every now and again, I like to make somebody a star on a Semadram screen. Let's see who that is today. In Israel, the Shah, which looks like a while. No, it's not. And you would know that if you knew Hebrew. No, it's not. And you would know that if you know Hebrew. The letter that's used in the name Israel is a sin. And it's not a Shah. The name of the letter in Hebrew is Shin. But of course, you clearly follow Lashawan Qadash, where the language is syllabic. And so that's why you said Shah. But no, you are incorrect. The name of it is Shin. That's the SH. And the S sound is Sin. So that is completely incorrect. Completely incorrect. And you know what? I respect this brother. You know what he said? I definitely used to listen to someone with a King James Bible, a highlighter, and aggression. But you learn better and you do better in that order. Now that's humility. Humility is the ability to spot the problem, make corrections, and move in that forward lateral direction. Humility is the ability to spot the problem, you and who you're learning from, make the necessary corrections, and move forward laterally. It's not to remain in ignorance, respond with aggression, and still continue in blatant lies and errors. Here we go. Let's see who'll be the next contestant on Zion Lexx TV Summer Jam screen. Example 4. This one is interesting. The way to say God, according to Lashawan Qadash, they say Allah Hayam. They say Allah Hayam. So that's deeply problematic. Because according to Lashawan Qadash, there's two sounds. That's ah and I. But if you look at the letters in Paleo Hebrew, they say the letter that renders the I vocalization is the Hebrew letter ayin. The Hebrew letter ayin is not in the name Elohim. So how are your pronunciations for it? Alahayim. I mean, but I could tell you why. Because naturally, when you add a vowel letter with a vowel, you create a new sound, which is called a diphthong. And that's why your pronunciation is going to be rendered, no matter how much you don't want it to be, it's going to inevitably be rendered Alahayam. But that, according to your own doctrine, goes against your system. But it's inescapable because it's a natural feature of language that when vowel letters collide with vowels, a new sound is produced, and that new sound is called a diphthong. So that means even within your own system of Hebrew, your sick, twisted, and distorted system, eventually you will run into a dead end. Even the pronunciation they offer is Alahayim, and that is completely incorrect. The proper way is to say Elohim. The plural form Elohim uses what's called a Segol-Kyorik vowel sequence. It reflects a frozen morphological plural. It carries syntactic rules governing divine single verbs. The term Alahayim replaces Hebrew vowels with Arabic-like diphthongs, adds a false I glide, destroys the grammatical relationship between noun and verb. Can I say something? I have people that take my classes that speak and read Arabic fluently. Arabic is a sister tongue to Hebrew. Arabic is a beautiful language. But let's make a distinction. Arabic is not Hebrew. While it is similar to Hebrew, it is not Hebrew. So when you're speaking Hebrew in the way that Arabic is spoken, you are effectively no longer speaking biblical Hebrew. By the way, any Arabic speaker would tell you, in following Arabic grammar, vocalization drives meaning, not just in Hebrew, but even in Arabic. So if you begin to vocalize words that are Arabic in the way that they are vocalized in Hebrew, you will effectively change the meaning of those Arabic words too. This is neither Hebrew nor ancient. It is cross-linguistic contamination of the Hebraic rules of grammar. Let's move. Again, the impetus for doing this afternoon's lecture is the gross level of ignorance and the even worse, blatant level of pride and arrogance. You see, ignorance is one thing. I could take ignorance. Ignorance without the negative connotation simply means that a person does not know any better. The thing I can't take is pride, arrogance, because that means you willfully make the choice to remain in a lie. You willfully make the choice to remain in errors, which means you willfully and effectively are making a choice to lead the sheep astray. Here we go. Paleo-Hebrew and early vowel awareness before Tiberius. Rejecting Lashawan Qadash does not require denying antiquity. Long before the Masoretes of Tiberius, Hebrew scribes already showed vowel consciousness. Long before the Masoretes of Tiberius, Hebrew scribes already showed vowel consciousness. I showed you guys in the 3 other videos that I did. Pre-Masoretic evidence. Matres lectiones appear as early as the First Temple period. Those are vowel letters. Various letters in the Hebrew alphabet that act both as vowels and letters. Those letters are Aleph, Hey, Wav, and Yod. All of them being indications of vocalization at various junctions and points. The Salome inscription shows internal vowel awareness. The Dead Sea Scroll preserved variant spellings that reflect spoken vowels. At times, the name for God, Elohim, is spelled with an additional letter for vocalization. That additional letter is the letter Wav, which acts as the vowel kolam. At times, the word Elohim is spelled with 5 letters in the Dead Sea Scrolls, just as it is spelled with 5 letters in the Masoretic text. But at times, the Dead Sea Scrolls actually spells it with 6 letters. And the 6th letter is given the vocalization of O through the letter Wav, which is the vowel cholam. Scribal traditions distinguish between homographs via spelling conventions. The Masoretes did not invent vowels. They codified a living, already existing tradition. Their work systematized phonemic distinctions, stress rules, morphological clarity, and public reading accuracy. This was preservation, not corruption. The rhetorical problem, ideology masquerading as philology. The appeal of Lashawan Qadash is emotional, not evidentiary. We all know Lashawan Qadash and its proponents. Their evidence is more emotion than it is based in fact. We don't speak the Yiddish. That's the white man. You're relying on a white man to speak the Hebrew. You don't know the Hebrew. We don't need the white man. Okay, so explain to me the Hebrew grammatical system. Explain to me how Hebrew verbs work. Explain to me the system of Hebraic morphology. Explain to me how verbs are constructed. Explain to me how words are added, words are taken away, meaning its letters, in order to change meaning, in order to alter vocalization, in order to produce its various meanings. I know you don't need the white man. So that means when I sit you down and I ask you basic questions, and I promise you they are basic. I haven't asked any one of you Lashawan Qadash one Westerners. I haven't asked a single one of you anything complex, and that's by design. Because I want to show you how ridiculous your system is. Because when I ask you the most simplest and basic of questions, you literally have no response. So because Israel's neck is stiff, you got to keep your foot on it. And that's what the Creator sent his prophets for. The neck of Israel was stiff, so he sent his prophets to put their foot right on it. And that's exactly what they did. Don't expect me to be nice. Don't expect me to be polite. And by the way, why are you in your feelings? Oh, I'm not saying it. Hold on. I'm not saying that what Zion is saying is inaccurate. But why he got to talk like that? He's insulting. He's arrogant, man. Why he got to say it like that? Huh? Are these the same guys that be telling white people to kiss their feet in their boots? What Tupac told Q and Juice? You got to get the ground beneath your feet, partner. What you talking about? Now y'all sensitive? Come on. Can't be the tough guys on street corners cursing out people, mamas, and their grandmamas. Y'all sensitive? Nah, you're going to have to man up. Take that. Here we go. The appeal of Lashawan Qadash is emotional, not evidentiary. Its rhetoric depends on distrust of rabbinic tradition. So here's the evidence that Lashawan Qadash is accurate according to them. It comes from the white man, the Edomite. That's the Yiddish. Okay, when were the Masoretes developing this system? I don't know, but the white man, the Yiddish. Do you know when Yiddish appears on the world scene as a language? Do you know that what you're calling Yiddish via vocalization, do you know that same vocalization is mentioned and represented in the Dead Sea Scrolls? So let me guess. The Dead Sea Scrolls contain Yiddish, even though there's no Yiddish speaker at the time of the Dead Sea Scrolls. Their rhetoric, being an emotional appeal, is also founded in romanticization of lost knowledge. Romanticization of lost knowledge. Oh, we lost the true way of speaking, but we're returning. What you returning to? We're returning to the paleo. You mean the paleo script? No. What you talking about? I'm talking about the paleo language, huh? Please have several football stadium seats and somebody take away that man's mic, because my God. Conflation of antiquity with authenticity. But languages do not survive by rejection of tradition. Can I say that again? Languages do not survive by rejection of tradition. They survive through chain transmission, comparative evidence, and internal consistency. When vowels are removed, roots float. When morphology collapses, meaning dies. When grammar is ignored, pseudo-ideology fills the gap. Taza. Huh? You literally can't make this up. I wish you could, but you quite literally can't make this up. Let me take some time to read the comments. Exactly. They do the same. Let me make sure I'm reading your comment correctly. Atar Ben Yisrael says exactly. They do the same of an Arabic glide at the end of Yahawashai. They unknowingly have created a diphthong with the ayin at the end. Madness. That's a fact. That's a fact. Complete and utter stupidity. Complete and utter madness. Conclusion. Precision is not oppression, it is meaning. Biblical Hebrew is not preserved by louder pronunciations or reconstructed syllables. It is preserved through understanding grammar, morphology, historical continuity, comparative semitics, scribal discipline. Lashawan Qadash does not restore Hebrew. It unravels and distorts it. What remains is not ancient speech from Lashawan Qadash, but modern invention. So here's something I need everybody to be audible with. And don't stop until people change. Contrary to popular opinion in the Israelite community, Lashawan Qadash is not the preservation of ancient Hebrew. It's the reconstruction of Hebrew into a modern pseudo language that is never represented in ancient or biblical Hebrew. What remains is not ancient speech, but modern invention projected backward without linguistic warrant. This system only makes sense, Lashawan Qadash, only makes sense to someone who is completely ignorant of biblical Hebrew grammar, which is why when you ask a proponent of Lashawan Qadash to break down biblical Hebrew grammar, that's where the cookie crumbles every single time. They don't know. So how in the hell are you teaching language and you don't understand the very basics of language? Grammar. Then we ask you to read the cat in the. I gotta come back to that word. No, the word is hat. Because that's how simple the Hebrew word you can't read is. The word is hat, homeboy. That's how simple the Hebrew word you skipping over and gotta come back to is. This is crazy. Sacred language is not safeguarded by rejecting its guardians, but by understanding how meaning is actually carried, letter by letter, vowel by vowel, generation by generation. I have 3 examples to close this afternoon's presentation of more reasons why Lashawan Qadash is not only not a language, but why it fails One West's exegesis of the Hebrew Bible. I'm going to show you some key verses that Hebrew Israelites typically universally use. They typically universally use, I say, because not everyone holds to this, but the vast majority of Israelites do hold to verses like Deuteronomy 28:68. And I'm going to show you once again why that fails if you're following Lashawan Qadash. Deuteronomy 28:68, semantic collapse of verb, voice, and agency. The verse states that Israel will be brought back to Egypt, ba'aniot, by ship, and that they will offer themselves for sales as male and female servants, but there will be no buyer, we'ein koneh. Lashawan Qadash readings routinely flatten this grammar by repronouncing or resegmenting the clause, obscuring the nifal passive force of the verbs, and the ironic versal encoded in we'en kone. By the way, any Lashawan Qadash teacher you bring me, when I start questioning them on basics of Hebrew grammar, this is where they're going to fail, and this is where they always fail. They don't even know what you mean when you talk about the nifal passive stem. When they hear you say that, you might as well be speaking Chinese to them because they didn't understand a damn word you just said. Hebrew here is precise. The tragedy of Deuteronomy 28:68 is not merely enslavement, but worthlessness, no redemption price, no market value, no deliverer. When Lashawan Qadash introduces ad hoc vowel sounds or it adds English phonetics, it severs the clause from its syntactic irony and collapses the theological meaning that exile culminates in total covenantal degradation, not just geographical location. By the way, they can't even get past the language I'm using to describe this, much less be able to hone in on it in Hebrew. There we go. Another passage that we Israelites frequently use to enhance our doctrine of enslavement is the book of Exegesis chapter 15 verse 13. Know for a surety, Abraham, that your seed shall be strangers in a land that is not theirs. Well, watch this. Genesis 15:13, misreading aspect, duration, and collective identity. The declaration, Yadoah Todah, knowing you shall surely know, uses an infinitive absolute plus imperfect. Ask any Lashawan Qadasha what that even means. What is the infinitive absolute plus imperfect? What does that mean? Guarantee you they fold. The declaration, Yadoah Todah, knowing you shall surely know, uses an infinitive absolute plus imperfect to express certainty, followed by Ger Yiyeh Zar'eka, your seed will be a sojourner, and they will afflict them 400 years. We'anu otam arba me'ot shana, and they will afflict them 400 years. Lashawan Qadash pronunciations routinely erase the grammatical force of the infinitive absolute, and they blur the collective noun, zera, seed, turning a covenantal multi-generational process into a simplistic ethnic slogan. Hebrew morphology encodes certainty, duration, and corporate identity. Altering the vowels and stress patterns dissolves the legal prophetic structure of the promise and replaces it with a vague ahistorical claim detached from the Abrahamic covenant's timeline. What am I saying? If you're following Lashawan Qadash, then the way we exegete this will completely lose its meaning. It would not hold the meaning that we use in the Israelite community to enhance our doctrine, our doctrinal point of using this passage to denote the transatlantic slave trade. That Abraham's prophecy is repetitive. It's a dual prophecy or dual fulfillment, referring to the first Egypt at the base level and referring to the last Egypt as well. None of that would stand following the rules of Lashawan Qadash, because the rules of Lashawan Qadash intricately disrupt Hebrew grammar, morphology, and syntax that leads to the meaning that we hold to. So if you're following Lashawan Qadash, you literally are changing Israelite doctrine, the parts of the doctrine that are true. This is why one West must die in order for the community to forward lateral in 2026 and beyond. Here we go. Third example, Isaiah 53 verses 4 through 5, destruction of verbal stems and theological meaning. The text distinguishes carefully between what the servant bears. Now, I use this particular passage, Isaiah 53, as the last example because here's a fact that I know coming from the Old Testament community that I was once a part of, right? The Old Testament community is a strict discipline community when it comes to biblical Hebrew. many of them, the vast majority of them, actually know biblical Hebrew. There's only a few of them that don't really know Hebrew, and even some that don't know Hebrew at all. You guys have seen me in recent debates where people I've debated on topics involving the Hebrew Bible will literally say, no, I don't know the Hebrew. I usually say, then why are you in the debate? But hey, if it's okay with you, it's cool with me. If you like it, I love it. The reason why I included this as the last part of the presentation is because, unfortunately, the vast majority of the Israelite community that follows Lashawan Qadash happens to be the Messianic community. So here's where things become important for us, myself included, that are Messianic. Messianic Israelites rely heavily upon Isaiah 53. Isaiah 53 is a fundamental and even a foundational doctrine within Messianic thought and practice. Isaiah 53 is one of the foremost passages that we go to describe the role of the Mashiach as a suffering servant that would be martyred, that would be killed, that would be murdered on our behalf, whose death would bring a covering, whose death would take away our sin and transgression, just as Isaiah 53 describes. But can I tell you something, Messianic community? If you're following Lashawan Qadash, none of those ideas that we foster and utilize to describe Isaiah 53 universally, even if you're Christian, none of those ideas stand, because Lashawan Qadash completely strips the meanings grammatically, morphologically, and syntactically. Isaiah 53, verses 4 through 5, destruction of verbal stems and theological meaning. The text distinguishes carefully between what the servant bears, nasa, what is thought by observers, anaknu, chashav, nenu, and what is actually mortally wounded for our transgressions. Lashawan Qadash distortions often mangle these forms by ignoring binyanim, which are the Hebrew verbal stems, prepositions like min, which means from, because, or of, collapsing causality and agency. Hebrew here is exact. Suffering is vicarious. Misunderstanding human perception and healing flows through covenantal substitution. When vowel systems are improvised, the passage loses its syntactic precision and becomes rhetorically elastic, capable of being forced into almost any ideology, which is precisely what biblical Hebrew grammar was designed to prevent. On that note, everyone, I hope you guys enjoyed the live stream. I hope this brings many of you, if not all of you, one step closer to understanding what biblical Hebrew actually is. If you would like to take biblical Hebrew classes, you can reach me. You can reach us at Learn Torah Hebrew Academy. You can go to patreon.com/Learn Torah, and you can actually learn how biblical Hebrew actually sounds and how it's actually used and applied when reading. It's important, everyone, that if we're going to teach from the Bible, if we're going to base our practice on what the Bible says, then it is critically important that we actually commit to learning biblical Hebrew. Without learning biblical Hebrew, you cannot be an effective teacher in the Israelite community towards the forward lateral growth of the community. In 2026, it is diabolical to still be walking around saying shalom. In 2026, it is still diabolical to be pronouncing Israel as Yasharallah. In 2026, everyone, ignorance is no excuse. Knowledge is so accessible today that to be without it takes effort. On that note, everyone, I'm your brother Zion Lexx. I hope you enjoyed this presentation. Thumb up the video and share the live stream on your way out. And if this presentation moved you, don't be afraid to donate to support the cause. On that note, I'm your brother Zion Lexx, and I'm saying shalom. Take care.
Shalom and welcome to Zion Lexx TV. Be sure to like the video, subscribe, and share the live stream. Become a member of Zion Lexx TV and unlock several hidden features and hidden videos. Also, you can donate to Zion Lexx TV at Cash App $Zion Lexx or via PayPal at zionlex@gmail.com. We also have an online academy entitled Learn Torah Hebrew Academy. Visit us on patreon.com/learntorah. Our Gold tier membership gives you unlimited access to our special event lectures and our special live movie nights. Our Platinum tier gives you unlimited access to our Torah class, Kabbalah class, Patriarchs and Matriarchs of the Covenant classes, as well as understanding the New Testament via the Oral Tradition class. Our Diamond tier gives you unlimited access to all of the previous tiers, as well as our most sought-after class, our Biblical Hebrew course. And finally, our highest tier, our Sapphire tier, gives you unlimited access to all previous tiers, as well as our highly esteemed rabbinical course. Be sure to sign up today and check your tier membership so as to ensure you're getting access to the classes you desire. Thank you for visiting us here at Zion, Lexx TV, and now back to our current live stream.
Send you the first, send you the first, we going out, out. Send you the first, send you the first, we going out, out.
Preset, if you scared, then go home. And no, we ain't saying it twice. Cause once you get into this war zone, it's either your life or their life. And we ain't about losing before an intrusion. We gotta make sure we right. So we send praise and seek his face. Then we load up it is on site. What you thought it was, it's not. Don't wanna see us on your block. Yelling hallelujah, trying to tell y'all that victory is your shot. We serve Yah's out by oath. And in this army of hosts, yeah, Yahoo the lead. True indeed, in his name we boast. Go.
Send you the first, send you the first, we going out, out. Send you the first, send you the first, we going out. Fire flags in the street, sing louder, kick up the beat. All them enemy feet get delete when we cry in the street. Drew to drop them knee. Who got the praise for days? Who are the what came face? Made for praise, spit prophecy. We be that anointed royalty. I said we came. Hey, the bar Hamayim number 2 that's on replay. Yeah, we gon' bust them walls, mash up and be on our way. Yeah, to the nations we proclaim His Kodash name. Yahuwah, Yahuwah, Yah, Yah. Send you the first. Send you the first, we going out, out. Send you the first.
You said.
Send you the first, we going out, out.
From Simeon to Benjamin, we need every man out here standing. Got sisters home and they praying while they brothers in the field slaying.
Slaying demons in sorrow. Hamashiach, we do follow. Sword the truth, we loud no mute. We lenders out here, we know no borrow.
Jacob's seed is undefeated when y'all's greeted with praise and leads us through a war without a grievance till the win is completed. Then we return with our pieces.
Peace banger, peace be still with the Rangers. Mighty morphin', we hang them up to drop they can hang on, hang on.
Let's go.
Send you the first, send you the first, we going. Send you the first, send you the first, we going. Send you the first, send you the first, we going out, out.
Purify me, Yah, in the flames. Purify me, send your let it rain. Purify me, Yah, in your name. Purify me, purify me.
Purify my heart, my home, my dome, my soul, bring peace. Purify this dirty water in my cup I drink. I only want the living water from the King. Only want the diamond pressing out of me. Only want the white garment that's clean. Only want the true facts, that's me. 24 carats I rock in my heart, but it sinks to the bottom, you know that it's pure. Coming in sharp like a dark and the aim is on point, so you know that I'm pure. Filth all the evil out of my life, so when I pour it's pure. You know that it's more. I didn't close them doors, so move your finger, boy.
Purify me, Yah, in the flames. Purify me, send your let it rain. Purify me, Yah, in your name. Purify me, purify me.
Trauma after trauma, trouble after trouble. Expected this way of life to be an eternal tussle. Thriller in Manila, told the Most High that I can't endure. Increasing power with each blow. I'm telling them, give me more. It's gonna take more than just one. On that front line when it come. Boy, this spiritual warfare decided to come here, bring more than a gun. I've been purified, so down the ride as long as breath in my lungs. That consuming fire burnt my desires, never going back where I'm from. Go.
Purify me, Yah, in the flames. Purify me, send your let it rain. Purify me, Yah, in your name.
purify me.
Yeah, man, I step out the fire, my foot on the devil, I'm talking to y'all like a FaceTime. Purify my spirit, y'all say my soul, I've been trying to stay pure on this baseline. Old folks with the old me, they don't know me, just look at my waistline. Fridges drop on the bottom, Hakuna Matata, ain't worried about none of them headlines. They news in the media, I'm never media unless we talk about Todah. I'm just trying to go spread the bazaar, saying talking, I try to ignore. I'm looking for lost meanings in the scripture, I'm on an adventure like Todah. Y'all can write a designer, I write a designer, his image got me an immortal.
Cause I'm keeping the faith. If you're not with it, then move on my way. This purification is keeping me sane. I don't get offended cause I'm not the same. If you stuck in the past or you stuck in the maze, keeping it real, a minute behind is a minute too late. If the first shall be last and the last shall be first, but I endure to the end of who win in the race. Sin and perversion, I'm a face, shuffle your boots and tie your lace. Go through the fire, then conversate. Give me your time, dog, finna wait. You back in the hind, dog, on the lake. You ready or wrong, dog, connotate. You falling behind, dog, keep the pace. You heard it all wrong, dog, spin the tape.
Purify me, I am the flames. Purify me, see you let it rain. Purify me, I in your name. Purify me, purify me. Purify me, I in the flames. Purify me, see you let it rain. Purify me, I in your name. Purify me, purify me.
Tearing down idols, and we cutting down posts. We calling back Israel to the hell we know. Throwing out crystals, we don't need these stones. And we ain't no God, that's a job for y'all. All praise to the Most High. All praise to the Most High, Yahuwah. All praise to the Most High. All praise to the Yah Israel. Tearing down idols, we cutting down poles. We calling back Israel to the hell we know. We throwing out crystals, and we don't need these stones. We ain't no God, that's a job for Yah. Cutting down poles, we calling back Israel to the hell we know. We throwing out crystals, we don't need these stones, and we ain't no gods. That's a job for y'all. Everybody help me say all praise.
All praise to the Most High.
I can't hear you say.
Want to take your understanding and perception of the Hebrew Bible to new and exciting heights and depths? Then join us today at Learn Torah Hebrew Academy. We offer a full range of masterly taught and thought-provoking classes and courses in Biblical Hebrew for beginners and advanced students, Torah classes, with specific emphasis on the weekly Torah portion. We also offer Kabbalah classes for beginners and advanced students, affording everyone a deeper and more esoteric understanding of the Bible and Torah. Lastly, we also offer courses in rabbinical and Levitical ministry training, especially designed for those looking to embark upon leadership opportunities in the community. We provide certificates and diplomas for several of our classes. Our online academy meets a couple days a week, and all of our classes are video recorded and for your playback needs. Each class recording comes with a fully digitized AI transcript, documenting everything learned and discussed in each session.
Shalom, shalom, family. This is your brother Avdiel Ben Levi, otherwise known as Zion Lexx. Go to Amazon and purchase all of my books. Type in my author name, Avdiel Ben Levi, or you can also type in Zion Lexx. There you'll find some of my earliest books and my latest works. It was written and engraved, The DNA of Sound, The Star of David Controversy, Ancient Kemet on Trial, Patriarchs of the Covenant, Matriarchs of the Covenant, and my two foremost books that are critically acclaimed on Amazon, and even one has become a bestseller, and that's going to be the Messiah Codex Volume 1 and Messiah Codex Volume 2. So go to Amazon.com today, type in my name, Avdiel Ben Levi, otherwise known as Zion Lexx, and there you can purchase all of my books. Peace and shalom, family.